What's up guys, this is Barnman 2205 and welcome to something a little bit different that I don't normally do. I heard somewhere that you're not a real YouTuber until you've made a tier list, so here's my tier list video, and I'm sure I'm gonna make some of you very, very mad. I decided to make this about 5 minutes ago, so there is no production value whatsoever. I found a template already made and just renamed the categories. It's got the GameCube games in it. I've never played them, so they're in their own thing. I hear mixed things. I hear people who grew up with them are like, yeah, they're good, I like them, and everyone else is like, they're there. Maybe I'll play them one day, who knows. This is a purely subjective tier list. I just want to clarify, I don't think there are any bad Pokemon games. There's a reason that they've all been sticking around for this long. I think they're all, at worst, fine, like mediocre games. And at best, they're beloved childhood favorites. It's purely subjective. This is purely how I feel about revisiting them and playing through them again. This isn't meant to be this is the best game and all of your opinions are wrong. It's just my opinion. You're all going to have differing opinions. Try not to be too upset about it. That being said, this is the internet. You're going to be upset about it. I'm going to lump the third versions in, and the direct sequels and whatnots. They're all just going to be lumped into a single category. Let's just jump through it in release order, starting with the originals, red and blue and yellow, and I'm putting them straight up into the A tier. I love these games. It's nostalgia, I'll admit it. Pokemon Blue was my first Pokemon game. I've been playing these games since 1998. God, what is that? 26 years. I've been playing these games for 26 years. I'm very old. I love them to death. They're janky. But if you're nostalgic enough and you grew up with the jank, and you just see through it to all that these games did, they're a great time. I replay them all the time. They're infinitely replayable. I love them so much. They're going straight into A tier. They are followed by Gold, Silver, and Crystal. And they are, in my personal opinion, the best ones. These are my favorites, and it's been quite a journey, right? So I did not, like, I always liked them. I didn't really click with them until maybe like 5 years ago. I don't even know what it is. I always saw the flaws, and the flaws always outweighed everything that these games do so right. And then about a few years ago, something just clicked. I don't know. A bubble must have popped in my brain or something, and I just stopped caring about the flaws, because it has flaws. The post-game, in my opinion, is overrated. Like, it's cool, but when you really dig deep into it, it's just a gym gauntlet with a lot of travel in the middle and not much going on. There isn't really a plot. You just go into the gyms, fighting them again. Most of them are really easy. The game has what I like to call not a difficulty curve, but a difficulty heart rate monitor, because it's like Whitney, Jasmine, not Jasmine, Claire, Elite Four, Blue, Red. Like, the rest of the game is just like piss easy. But man, it did so much right. Just the region is cool. There's very little downtime, I've noticed. It flows really well. Apart from the difficulty. The difficulty doesn't flow. But it's not like, in Red and Blue, you get like the Silphco section, and like, you can just speed your way through it, but if you quote unquote play it properly and fight everybody, that just drags on. Some of the dungeons really suck. There's like no bad parts in Gold and Silver. The radio tower is like a bit of a rocket gauntlet if you're not into that, but it's like pretty short. That's maybe like the one bit that drags on a little too long. Even like dungeon wise, like the ice cavern, yeah, it's annoying, but it's short. It's over pretty quickly. The new Pokemon are great. The Johto region is great. Ooh, I'm messing with the scrolling. It's a really great time. These are my favorite games. I replay them even more than Red and Blue and Yellow. I love them to death. Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. Here we go. These are going in the C tier. I know. I can hear the people up in arms. Let me clarify what in my mind what the C tier Pokemon games are. they're still good. Like, I still like them. They're just not as, like, compared to some of the other games, which I just enjoy, like, infinitely more. I don't find myself going back to these as often. I'm just kind of like, yeah, they happened. They were a good time. Ruby and Sapphire, there's a lot of good stuff going for them. One of my favorite Pokemon, Gardevoir, is in this gen, so, you know, that's cool. We all clown on the meme, right? The IGN meme, too much water. But guys, she's right. There's a lot of water in that game. The HMs in this game, it's a bit ridiculous. It is a little bit ridiculous. Like, the back half of the game is nowhere near as strong as the first half, in my opinion. It really kind of trails off. But it's still good. It's a good time. I still like them. They're still fine. They are fine games, guys. Don't get all up in arms. They're still fine. I just don't like them as much as others. Fire Red and Leaf Green, I'm putting them in the B. I'm putting them in the B. Again, I can hear people be like, but they're just better versions of Red and Blue. This is a trend with all of the remakes, that, for spoilers, that you're going to see going forward. I would much rather play all of the original versions than the remakes. I get that the remakes are, like, objectively better, and they clean a lot of the problems that like, the originals have. But it's purely just a nostalgia thing. Like, for me, the jank in Red and Blue is, like, part of its identity. It's, like, if you clear the jank, yeah, it's still, like, a very solid game, but, like, it's missing, like, what makes it special for me. But that said, it's still very good. Also, I've mentioned it before, but the soundtrack in Fire Red, Leaf Green specifically just sounds really off to me. Just like, I'm not good at describing music. It's why I failed music class in high school. But there's something about just, it's like, it's not chiptunes, but it's like this weird, like, Game Boy Advance modernization of chiptunes, and it all just sounds like really just off to me, and I don't like the soundtrack to Fire Red and Leaf Green. It just bothers me. Like, I wish I could just play it with the old school music. But that's just me. Alright, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. This one's tricky, because if it wasn't for Platinum, Diamond and Pearl would be like a C. But Platinum is like an A, and I am lumping them together. So they're gonna go in A, pretty much because of Platinum. Like, the giant asterisk is Platinum hard carries it. I love Platinum. Platinum, after, like, Ruby and Sapphire, I was like, yeah, these are okay, but, like, I don't love them. I didn't play Diamond and Pearl. I didn't even play, like, Fire Red, Leaf Green until, like, later that I went back to them. But, like, I played Platinum. So the day I finished high school, I finished my very last exam, and to celebrate, I went to EB Games, which is, like, our Australian GameStop for all you Americans out there. I bought a pre-owned Nintendo DS. Like, the DSi and the DS Lite, they were all out at this point, but I bought, like, the bricky fat Nintendo DS pre-owned for $25. Wait, do I have it here? Do I have it here? No, I don't. That makes me sad. Wait. Oh! I have it here. Hang on, let me just tab so I can preview the window. I have it here. It's, like, missing, like, a chunk in the corner here. The screens are still, like they are filthy and scratched up to hell. But somehow this thing still works. Like, I turn it on, and, like, it still works by, like, brick of a DS that I bought, turn off now, for $25, and a copy of Pokemon Platinum. And I stayed up all night. I stayed in bed the entire next day and just played this game. It was great. I loved it. Platinum is so good. I just have a lot of nostalgic memories for Platinum. And it lifts Diamond and Pearl up with it. I love Platinum. I don't go back to it as often as I used to. But it's very... There's a special place in my heart for Platinum that, like, kind of brought me back in. Which is a recurring trend for another game when I kind of fell off the previous generation. Another game hooked me back in, but we're not there just yet. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Oh, man. This one's really tough. I don't know if it's an A or a B. I know what you're saying. You all want me to put it in S. Generally regarded as the greatest of all time. You know what? I'm actually going to put it in B. Just to make y'all mad. Again, similar to Fire Red Leaf Green. I know that they are objectively better versions of the originals, but there's just... It suffers from, like, one of the flaws that Gen 4 has just in general. it just feels way slower than it actually is. It just, the health bars drain slow. Like, the introduction to the game in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, like, within 5 minutes, I can be, like, in Violet City, deciding, am I gonna go straight for the gym? Am I doing the Bellspire Tower? Like, I can just, like, breeze through this game. But Soul Silver, Heart Gold, it constantly stops you and tries to talk to you. I don't like it, that it keeps doing that, and it just feels sluggish. I love the music, though. Unlike Fire Red Leaf Green, the way that they've remixed the music in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, like, chef's kiss. It's really well done. But yeah, I just almost always will pick S. We'll pick S. We'll pick Gold, Silver, Crystal over Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Like, almost every time. I just prefer these so much more. I'm gonna put them in D, though, because I recognize that they are hella good games. So, sorry guys, but there's so much other stuff I would rather play than Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Pokemon Black and White. You're going in the C. I know people are gonna be mad. Look, Gen 5, like, it's one of my, it's just kind of there for me. Like, there's a lot of things it does good. It does fix the Gen 4 problem. Like, there is a speed and punchiness to battles in particular. Like, the battles just feel really good. And the music is dope. I love the music in Pokemon Black and White. The story sucks. Like, the pitchforks are out. I've just made people so mad because the story is what everybody loves about Black and White. I think the story is garbage. Like, I don't understand why people love it so much. Like, the whole I've been on this rant so many times. I'm gonna do it again. The whole thing that everyone's like, oh, it asks this, like, great moral question about, like, the training of the Pokemon. No, it doesn't. It pretends to explore this deep vibe, like, right at the start of the game. They're just like, hey, we should release the Pokemon, don't you think? And everyone's like, ooh. And then that never comes up again until, like, the end of the game, where, what's his name, Getsus is just like, haha, we just convinced everyone to release them so we could rule the world. Like, there's no, like, moral, they don't explore the moral ambiguity, like, at all. They just kind of, like, throw it in there to be like, look, it's a deep plot. The whole end thing, like, it's who cares? I don't care about any of it. It's such a stupid plot. And the Pokédex is, like, it sucks. Like, apart from some standouts, like, 90% of the Gen 5 Pokédex is Kanto at home. You want the Geodude line? You've got the Roggenrola line. It's Geodude at home. You want the Machop line? You've got the Timber line. It's the Machop line at home. Like, so many of the Gen 5 Pokemon are like that, and it's just mid. C is Black 2 and White 2, more of the same. It's the same region, it's the same strengths, the same weaknesses. I don't think I've ever even finished Black 2 and White 2. I always get about halfway through and just kind of trail off. I don't even know what the storyline is. Something about there's 2 Team Plasmas now? I don't even know. I don't even care. They brought the old Pokemon back. That's something. All the bad ones are still in there, though. Don't care. Like, it's fine. There's stuff that I like about Gen 5, but on the whole, it's like, it's there. X and Y. Are you ready for me to get more mad? Actually, no. I'm gonna put it in B. It used to be an A. It has dropped to a B. But X and Y, again, after Black and White, similar to Platinum, X and Y is, like, really hooked me back in after I was really just kind of like meh with Black and White and Black 2 and White 2. X and Y, I adore X and Y. I put so much time into it, just wonder trading and just playing it and replaying it and just challenge runs, and I adore Pokemon X and Y. A lot of it is probably the Gen 1 pandering that they do. There's a lot of like, hey, it's Snorlax. The first Pokemon you run into is a Pidgey. You get to pick your Gen 1 starters. But the Mega Evolutions are cool. Team Flare is also there. Like, it's not the best. The pacing is all over the place. Like, you get to your first gym really quick, and then it's like forever until Gym 2, and then it's like Gym 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, it's just like, bam! The pacing is very weird in X and Y, but I adore it. It's dropped a few points since. There's other stuff I tend to go back and play more, but like I like X and Y. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you're going in the C. You are going in the C. It's it's Ruby and Emerald, and in some ways it's better because it's got a lot of the Gen 6 enhancements, but in some way it's not as good because it's like weirdly easy and it has the experience share and some of the weird story changes. It just doesn't quite work for me, but like, it is what it is. It's just kind of there. I don't have much to say about it. It's just kind of there. Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. This one, I'm putting this in B. And I'm lumping them together because Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon is basically the third version, just with two of them. It's the third and fourth version. Yeah, it's going in B. I like Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. They're not perfect. I really wish the game would just shut up and let me play it. Like that first island in particular, and like the first half of the second island, it's constantly stopping to talk to you, and it really drags the game down. I do actually really like the trials. I don't like the totem Pokemon at the end. I wish it was a proper trainer that you fought at the end of the trials, like the trial captains, instead of the totem Pokemon, because they're not that engaging for me to fight. But I like the trials, and the different challenges it throws at you is really unique and interesting. There's some really cool Pokemon in Sun and Moon as well that I like a lot. I think it's really cool. Don't really care for the Ultra Beasts, but they don't really turn up till post-game anyway. They're all weird. I didn't really like those, but it is what it is. They're solid. They're pretty good games. I rate them solid. Man, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. This is a weird one. Because these are weird games, man. I'm gonna put them in C. If this marked like a shift and like every game was like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee with its weird mechanics, like it would not be a good time. But as a one-off, like I've gone back to it and I'm like, you know what? As a one-off, like it was a good time. And I don't think it's happening now because I think the window is very much gone. I was very prepared for this year's Pokemon Day to be like, the next game is Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee 2. But it's not. And I think the window was gone for like a sequel. Like if they did one every like couple of years, I think it would have worked out fine. But you know, it's there. It's a good time. It's a weird, like, it's a chill time. Like all Pokemon games are chill times, but like this one, I don't make any kind of challenge run out of it when I do go back to it. It's just, I play it, it's a vibe, it's just kind of there. I like it, it's alright. Are you ready for the next installment of The Internet Gets Mad at Me? Sword and Shield Renee. I love Sword and Shield. I know so many people don't, and I get why. It's got its flaws, but I love the vibe and the energy of Pokemon Sword and Shield. How it's such an uninteresting story until it is. Like, I don't care for the story in Pokemon games, and I really, my least favorite parts of any Pokemon games are when you just get caught up in the legendary nonsense. And I love that Pokemon Sword and Shield, up until it is like, this isn't about that. Like, my favorite part is the gym challenge and like beating the gyms and becoming the best. And they just put that front and center when they're like, the gyms, man. The plot of the game is the gyms. Until it isn't. And they even have like the anime tournament arc at the end. Like I love, it's just a cool vibe. I like it. There's some cool mons in there. Score Bunny is the best starter, objectively the best starter. Every other starter is trash compared to Score Bunny. I'm a rabbit person, in case you don't know. Yeah, I love Sword and Shield. It's got its flaws, but like I ignore all of them because just the vibe, the general vibe is just great. Until it isn't, but like, I like it a lot. There's two other categories that we haven't touched yet. We're about to touch one of them now. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. It's not so good. This is marking the start for me of when it... For some people, it's Sword and Shield, but for me, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is the turning point. I really wanted to like these games, and there's so much that they did right, but there's so much that they just dropped the ball on. Like, almost all of the Platinum content is gone. Like, where is it? It's just... Like, the expanded Pokemon, the Platinum Pokedex is down in the underground, and it's like, they're there, but like, they feel like a weird afterthought. None of the extra content was in it. Like, well, barely any of the content was in it. The freaking XP share system is back, which means 95% of the game is, like, stupid easy. And then you just get to the Elite Four and the game is like, nah, we decided to play hard mode now. It's very bizarre. I was on autopilot the entire time. I wasn't really vibing with it. It is what it is. But nothing, guys, compares to this next Pokemon game. There isn't anything else like it. I don't feel the way I feel about this game like I do any other Pokemon game. Pokemon Legends Arceus. If you haven't clicked off yet, you've clicked off now. I'm sorry. I don't like this game. I know I shouldn't keep doing that. I know this is the game that, like, brought so many people back in after, like, every game is repetitive and the same and they're lazy and it's just, why would I keep buying these games? Oh, look, it's something cool and different. I didn't enjoy it at all. Like, I don't think I have a single, like, there was some positive. Actually, the being able to relearn the Pokemon's moves, like, literally just, like, on the spot, was actually, like, a really neat thing. That was pretty much it. That was, like, the one thing that I liked about this game. I got about a third of the way through. I dropped off. I traded my copy in. I have no intention of ever going back to this game. I'm sorry. I just did not vibe with it at all. I didn't enjoy it at all. It put me to sleep. I was bored. I didn't like the changes to the battle system. I'm sorry, everybody. I didn't like this game. I'm sorry. Everybody hates me now. And finally, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I think a lot of people will agree with me on this one. It's not so good. It's not so good. And there are stuff that I genuinely like about this one. Same with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Like, there are things in there that I'm like, this is great. But there's just so much more that's like, ooh. Like, I know I've said I don't like the stories in these games. This one is actually a good story. Like, it's the best story. Unless you count the games that don't have stories. Like these older ones, they don't really have stories. This one actually does. And you know why it's so good? Because it's not about this crazy world-ending plot or this, like, evil team that's out to rule the world for some reason. There's a plot where you and the girl you meet in school just establish a really cool rivalry, but, like, a really cool friendship. There's a plot where some guy's just trying to save his dog and, like, reconnect with his, I was gonna say dad because I played Violet, but I guess in Scarlet it's his mom, isn't it? This kid that like, estranged from his parents, just trying to save his dog. And then there's the Team Star stuff, which I didn't really care for that storyline at all. That storyline kind of sucked. Penny sucks. Come at me. But, like, it's just a really neat, it just feels very personal. Like, the storylines are about characters and not just weird legendaries changing the world. The legendaries do come into it at the end, but even that, it actually kind of feels natural and organic and not just, and then the legendaries happened. La! But even outside the technical stuff, I know everyone complains that these games run like garbage. I don't even care about that. The open world just sucks. The openness of this game, it just, like, they tried to do the Breath of the Wild thing of, you can go anywhere and do anything. I don't think it works because they missed what makes Breath of the Wild so good. And it's like, there's a new discovery everywhere you go. This one, there's just, like, 18 dots on a map. And they're like, go do the things now. And exploring the world isn't fun. It's very bland and repetitive. The only real incentive to go out of your way is to find Pokemon. Most of the time, they're Pokemon you can get in other places. And if you're like me, and you don't really care about the Pokedex, the Pokemon isn't even a reward in itself. So, like, why would you explore? Like, by the time it got to 2/3 of the way through this game, I just beelined for the dots. By the time I reached the point where I could just, like, fly and climb and glide and stuff, I was just like, whatever, man, just get me to the next spot. I don't care about anything that's going on in the middle. Yeah, that's Scarlet and Violet. I haven't gone back and replayed it since. I just haven't. I played the first DLC, the Teal Mask. I didn't even play the second one. Supposedly it's better. I haven't vibed with it. I wasn't in the mood. I just didn't quite vibe with this one. But I liked it more than Legend Arceus. I actually rolled credits on this one. And there's a lot of stuff that I did like for Legends Arceus. I'm sorry, I know you all hate me. There's nothing I enjoyed about this game. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. But there it is, everybody. This is my Pokemon tier list. Please let me know down in the comments why you hate me and why I'm wrong. And please remember, this is pretty much just how I personally feel about them individually. And I don't think there are any bad games. I don't even think Legends Arceus is a bad game, guys. It's not the game that I want to play. But this is it. Please be mad at me in the comments. Let me know your tier lists down below. Like, subscribe, ring the ding-a-ling. And I'll see you on Monday for a Pokemon Soul Silver Mono type challenge. Which type is it going to be? It's a mystery. Thank you so much, guys. See you next time. Bye!